3, 2, 1. Well, it's been quite a long time, and ladies and gentlemen, we are back with a GSE podcast, a very special GSE, newly dubbed Water Cooler Talk podcast. There are no boundaries, no limits on
everything's on the table.
What we'll discuss, and you've already heard our guest of honor today.
It's two of us.
Two guests of honor coming back. Our first repeat guest, Mike and Dax Tirado.
Yep.
All right. So last time we tried back in the summer.
I don't remember that one.
Yeah, we
So
weren't
we're never gonna bring it up.
able to complete it, but
No.
a lot of things have happened since we tried that, and
Yeah.
a lot of things have happened since our first podcast. Now
Yeah.
Dax is walking around,
And he has a head full of hair.
a head full of hair, and we're both older.
Yeah.
So here we are. We did try to make this work quite a bit. We had some talking points the first time around. A lot of Marvel, DC kind of subject matter, if you will. And I don't think that the overall Marvel DC has changed, but maybe our talking points have changed. So what do we got? What are you bringing to the table today?
I don't know. We could start off with the new Batman,
Okay.
which is from Twilight.
Yeah.
I wonder what they're gonna do with him because you've already done the Ben Affleck Batman, which I thought was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And Michael Keaton's Batman. Now they're gonna do a younger version of Batman.
Who's your favorite Batman?
Oh, Michael Keaton for sure.
Why?
I don't know. That was like my first superhero movie that I've ever watched, and I just fell in love with Batman.
Now
And I like Tim Burton's version of it as well. That's why.
Right. Were those the same cinematic, or was it the same cinematic universe? Like, was it a continuity thing?
No. I guess it was, in a sense.
One of them was based on around Christmas time too, right?
The second one.
Which is where we're at now. Oh man, Christmas time. I'm in a great mood, by the way.
Good.
The holidays, they just do it, man.
Yeah, not for me because I'm broke. So that's always fun. And I have a kid, so.
Before we dive into it, what's your favorite? Do you have a favorite Christmas moment?
Overall, or?
Yeah, in your life, one moment you could look back on.
I would say, I guess when I was like 12 or 13, I made a list of everything that I wanted, and I got everything on the list. So, yeah, it was like 15 different items or 15 different things, and my parents made sure they got me all 15.
Nice.
Yeah. But they didn't give me the N64. So one of my aunts who I visited in Jersey got it for me. So
wow.
I had like two different Christmases.
So the favorite family member that year was probably the aunt, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, video games.
You?
It's a very simple one, honestly, and it's one I always think back to. It was, God, I don't even know how old I was. I'm thinking maybe 2 or 3. I remember
2 or 3 years old.
Yeah, we were in Brooklyn at the time. That's where I was living, and it's not even that I remembered like the whole day or anything. I remember we went out after opening the tree, and I had gotten a stuffed animal Daffy Duck. Yeah, and there was snow on the ground, and I remember my parents took me out, and there was enough snow where they were walking along the sidewalk and pulling me on the sled, and I had Daffy chilling with me, and I think I had that duck for like 10 years. Wow. I don't know whatever happened to him, but R.I.P. to the almost day one Daffy Duck stuffed animal.
That man said 2 or 3 years old.
Yeah, I remember the lights, but they weren't like the LED lights that we have around the office now. They were like the bulbs.
Oh, the big ones.
You touched them and they were hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My wife, when I pulled out the all the Christmas stuff, my wife has the big old school ones, like the big colorful ones. I'm like, what are you doing with these?
There's a certain.
And she's like, I want to keep them. No, I'm throwing these in the garbage.
Dax is. We had a football game last night, and I think Dax is ready to play, right?
Yeah. My Eagles won, by the way. Just making sure you know that.
Well.
So what are we tied in first with the Cowboys?
Yeah.
6 and 7.
You got a shot to control your own destiny. Both teams do.
Yeah.
Because you guys play each other next week, right?
I think so.
And
But I feel like the Cowboys are going to implode like they always do.
Yeah, they don't look too good right
They
now.
don't. Like all the drama with
really-
the coach and everything.
yeah.
Yeah, they're not looking too good.
Yeah, whenever you see that in sports, it doesn't translate into a championship.
Exactly.
You could get close, you could even get to the title, but then usually it doesn't translate. Yeah, that game really hurt my feelings last night because I had a fantasy football team, the only team I was in all year. Normally I do like 2 or 3. And I had auto-drafted because I was at Izu the day of the draft. And I had a great team. We went 10-3.
Wow.
I had Zeke, Lamar Jackson. I had Greg Kittle, the tight end from San Fran. Halfway through the year, I picked up Kareem Hunt. And then I had somebody else. I can't remember who it was. But we put up 146 points last night.
Wow.
I was up by 39 or 38. And he had Sanders and Zach Ertz.
The man.
And that
Ertz makes it hurt.
That won the game for the Eagles, and it also knocked me out.
Yes,
So
yes.
I hope Ertz gets Cole for Christmas, and I also hope the Yankees get Garrett Cole for Christmas, but that's a whole different sports discussion. Let's get into the real matters at hand
The
here.
meat and potatoes.
The meat and potatoes, the thing that we really hit it off at New York Sports Club when we were working.
Yeah.
The comic movie love. So Robert Pattinson,
Yeah.
the Batman.
The Batman, I think they're going to go for a younger one. But then I'm reading the other things about, like, all the villains. They're putting Catwoman,
It's a lot.
the Riddler, and Penguin in it. It's like, why would you put so many people in a movie?
Do they team up ever? I feel like the Riddler and Penguin have teamed up in the past.
Yeah, I feel like they do, and I feel like Catwoman's going to do her normal thing where she's like the anti-hero,
Yeah.
but helps out Batman.
I think they're gonna push her as not being a sidekick. I think they're also gonna make her like a very
Say it out today, Junior.
strong woman hero. She's gonna transform into that. Cause that's my feeling because of the culture that we live in too.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and there's some interesting casting. What's his name as Commissioner Gordon?
Who?
Uh,
Spanish guy from
yeah,
Westworld.
yeah.
Yeah.
And Gordon, he's typically like a Santa Claus looking guy minus the weight.
Right.
But I like it. I like
I like who they...
Let's do something a little different. Let's see what's going on.
What's her face for playing Catwoman? Kravitz, right?
Yeah.
Zoe Kravitz?
Yep.
I think that's a good look.
Yeah. I listen.
Penguin.
I'm for it.
Yeah, I'm for it too. I just want to, me personally, I don't like when they oversaturate with too many heroes or too many villains. Because then you're not really giving time for us to have the buildup of this climactic fight between hero and anti-hero. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So now...
You're looking for the one-on-one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now you're giving me 3 different people and just Batman. So it's like... And I want them to do justice for all the villains.
Right.
I just don't want to be like, oh, Riddler was in the first 20 minutes and then Batman popped him.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like you feel like chapter 1.
Exactly.
Chapter
I
2.
want to be like the whole movie on the edge of my seat. That's the type of thing that I want.
I think the only movie... Well, it doesn't even... Well... I think Endgame did a good job with that, with the multi-villains in a way, but they were more like sidekick villains.
No. What?
Thanos and his henchmen. They weren't main villains like
They
you're
weren't
talking
main villains,
Riddler and Penguin.
Like, we grew up with the Riddler
Yeah.
Penguin. Like, Thanos wasn't a household name
Right.
until, what, 3 years ago?
Right, but Endgame did a good job with... You didn't feel like this was chapter 1 with
Oh,
these villains.
Right. But I mean, Endgame is in by itself. Like, that's a whole different entity.
Yeah.
From beginning to end, from the first Iron Man all the way to Endgame,
Yep.
I think they did. There's some villains that I thought they could have did more justice on, like Thor Ragnarok, Ultron, and Thor Ragnarok. Helena,
Yeah.
she should have been like
She's badass.
exactly.
Dude, when he throws that hammer and she's just like...
She just shatters
you
it.
have
Yeah,
no idea.
there should have been more to her. And then you got Baron Zemo, who's actually coming back for Winter Soldier and Falcon. So I think it's pretty cool.
I liked his I don't know if I'm going to say this right. The humanity side of him, or the human portrayal of him, like this downtrodden person who's lost it all.
Right. But we understand his backstory.
I feel like they could have just left it.
Mm-hmm.
I hope they do right moving forward with Captain
I think
or Falcon and Winter Soldier.
I think they do. I think they will. But Baron Zemo is also the head of the Thunderbolts.
Okay.
Which has to do with like the Red Hulk.
Yeah.
So that's a whole like it's a whole anti-hero team.
Have you been? Yeah, I think everybody has, or 99.999% of the world has seen Disney Plus. What they're doing with the Mandalorian.
Oh, the Mandalorian's amazing.
I love it.
Baby Yoda.
I hate
Baby
the every
Yoda.
Friday thing.
Yeah, but that's how they do it.
I
so
wish they
you
would
could
give us
stay-
like 2 episodes a week, and that's
but
me
then-
being greedy because, or a longer episode.
Yeah, but you're used to binging, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah.
You like to binge. That's what Netflix and Hulu has taught us. But I think Disney Plus is doing it the right way.
Yeah,
And that's what they're going to do with all the other shows that they come out with.
Yeah, I saw Netflix. It was funny because right after Netflix or Disney came out, didn't Netflix release that they had like signed up with Nickelodeon?
Something like that.
So now you got the childhood rivalries
Right.
going back again.
Listen, I love Disney Plus. Me and my wife watch it with our son all the time.
It's great.
All the throwback like movies. Not gonna lie, Beauty and the Beast, Snow White.
Listen, you got to.
Listen, that's what I grew up on.
Cartoons, man.
And then you got like The Mandalorian, which I think is an amazing show.
Yeah, I love The Mandalorian. I think I posted this on the gram the other day. For anybody that wants to follow, it's _ one word, I play music _ and it said, has Baby Yoda won 2019? Or at least the internet in
What is it?
2019, because the memes are
Outrageous.
really funny.
They're outrageous. And I do 9gag,
Okay.
and like it's just a whole bunch of memes.
It's just, yeah.
And it was just Yoda, like from like him being in like a thug outfit with Timberlands on
Yeah.
to sipping tea and coffee. Like it's very funny. But honestly, I think Baby Yoda has outdone Baby Groot by far.
Yeah, well, the internet is definitely winning with Baby Yoda this time around.
yeah.
I feel like just people making memes and even just screenshotting conversations
Right.
about it is far more than Baby Groot. And the screen time, though, has it even been the same? I mean, Groot had so much more screen time, and we've already got more material from Yoda.
Yeah, very true. Very true. I mean, Baby Yoda won. He's the new it thing.
I think we're crowning 2019 the year of Baby Yoda.
Baby Yoda.
Right?
And the crazy part is he's 50 years old.
Yeah. Yeah, he looks good for 50.
Yeah, he does.
I think we look like crap for our 30s, but he looks good for 50. All right. So back to the Batman. What do you have any direction on where it's gonna go?
I just want it to be continuous, basically.
Right.
So hopefully, like, you gave us Ben Affleck, and then you gave us a Suicide Squad,
Yeah.
and then you gave us a Justice League. Like, wait, you gave us Batman, Superman, Suicide Squad, and the Justice League.
Right.
I just want a Batman that we could do beginning to end. So look at Marvel. What Marvel's
Like
done.
Bale, like that, like you
Yeah,
know,
I don't.
like,
I
it was
don't want
just
to.
Batman.
Yeah, like just have Batman be Batman, just facing off with his foes,
Right.
and then give me a Joker that I actually like. Like,
What do you think of Joker? Because if you say the Joker, people like lose it, right?
The
It's
Joker?
Just Joker.
I'm
Joaquin
not
Phoenix,
gonna
right?
lie to you. Me and my wife walked out of the movie theater.
Really?
We were falling asleep. Like, I didn't grow up on that Joker. I get what they were doing with the Joker.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. But that's not my Joker.
Okay.
My Joker is the nutbag. Like,
Yeah.
let's go through all the way back to Michael Keaton. Who was he facing off against? Jack Nicholson. That's my Joker. And that man was nuts. Then you got Heath Ledger.
Who was better, Jack or Heath?
Two different Jokers.
Yep.
Two different Jokers.
This is why you're my boy. I say the same
Two
thing.
different Jokers. And I'm not even going to put Jared Leto in a conversation.
No,
because he's garbage.
Listen, I didn't see enough to say he was garbage, but what the studio did to him,
Yeah.
garbage.
Was garbage.
Garbage.
I mean, what'd you think about the Joker?
So when Ledger died, I always felt like I wanted more, or at least something resembling that Joker a little more. I liked the look of it.
It was grimy.
Maybe
It was
the
dingy.
red nose didn't do it for me, but the way that the scraggly hair and stuff, I really dug that. I thought it was a second too long. You know, and I mean that like more than a second, but it felt just a little too long. And I thought when he finally embraced the Joker, it was great. But the journey before it felt like, okay, there's one too many
Right. No, you're right.
One too many things.
You're completely right.
Did you... I know you said that you left. Did you see the end when he was in the car?
I read about it.
Right.
So I, like, if I walk out on a movie and everybody's talking about it, I'll read about it. So I figure out what's going on.
At the end, he's in the cop car after he shoots De Niro's character.
Yeah.
And they get in an accident, and he ends up laid out on the hood of the police car. The people that are rioting in the streets, they lay him out, and he's got like his arms spread, I think, almost like Jesus, if you will, and he's just laying there. Eventually, he gets up.
Right.
He's got to have a major concussion at that point.
Right. But I feel like they want to make a part 2. Me personally, what are you going to do with a part 2? It's just going to be more chaotic, and I don't think the Joker. He's not even one of the main Jokers. Like there's been 3 different Jokers in the comic books. I think he's just the idea of chaos.
Well, he's what could happen when a person is driven to that point.
Right. That's what it wanted to show us.
And he's not the Joker, but he's the example of, okay, everyday person off the street can embody that.
Right.
You know.
That's what I think the film was going for.
Yeah.
And that's cool with me.
It did.
But it's just not my type of Joker.
Right.
I want the chaotic Joker. Yeah. I want to see the robbing banks. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like stuff like that.
The one that's laughing. And
exactly. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong.
Batsy.
Joaquin Phoenix had a great laugh, and I think he played a great role. It's just the movie was not for me.
Right.
Another movie that I do not like, tried to watch it again yesterday, is Shazam. I think we were talking about this before, but I think they rushed it. I want to see Black Adam. I'm tired of them pussyfooting around Black Adam.
Dwayne.
Yeah, I would like to see The Rock, be a superhero. And then on top of that, they brought the whole Shazam family in at the end. Yeah. That's what really made me mad. That made me very mad. Because it's rushed.
I know that you mentioned that you wanted to talk about Shazam.
Oh, no, I'm done. That was me. That was my rant.
So I didn't watch it. Mm-hmm. I was fed up with the DCEU at that point. Okay. And I saw this hero, and I was like, I think it's a cool idea to do a movie about it, but now you don't put that out yet. Put it out at, 2 movies from now. Let's get a good Batman or a better Justice League Part 2 even.
Right.
But they put out the Aquaman and Shazam and I think Wonder Woman all at the same time. Was Wonder Woman before Justice League? Or no?
Wonder Woman was before.
Or was it after Justice League?
Wonder Woman?
Yeah, I forget.
It was before.
They all 4 of them came out around the same time though.
No.
Shazam, Wonder Woman, and Justice League.
Wonder Woman was first.
No, I'm not saying in order. I'm saying the grouping all kind of came out together.
Yeah. They all came out together.
Justice League was...
See, that's my problem. Like, you made Justice League, they rushed that.
Yeah.
DC just doesn't know what they're doing.
Apparently, the Snyder... Or
cut.
I guess # release the Snyder cut.
Right.
We'll throw it out there. I don't care either way if they release it or not.
I don't care either.
I'm over it.
Exactly. Like everybody's making it a big deal. It's really not. I don't think that
adding some extra dialogue or even a fight scene is going to save that movie.
It's not.
The universe started to lose me around Batman vs Superman. It was a 3-hour movie, and it just ended up being this like.
What's your mother's name?
Yeah.
Martha.
Yeah, Martha.
Yeah, that was
What'd you call her? Martha.
I mean, that was alright. I mean, honestly, out of all of them, I like Aquaman. It visually raped my eyeballs.
Yeah, well, fans...
The whole underwater thing is amazing.
Fans are like, oh, well, they're just ripping off Marvel. Okay, well, Marvel knows what they're doing. So do it. There's a blueprint for everything. You can tweak it a little bit, but you don't change the fundamental qualities of what works.
Right.
Like... I don't understand. Listen, unless you love a character so much, an individual character, where like they'll say Iron Man is very similar to Batman, right? They're both billionaires, somewhat playboys. I feel like more Iron Man being a playboy than Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
Outright, anyways, and then like they use their technology to help them out.
Right.
I could see if you're fanboying that way, but when you're outright like, oh well, Marvel sucks, oh DC sucks, I like the other one better. Like, who cares? Who cares? Chill out. Just watch the movie, all right? Because I prefer the Marvel movies, but I'm big right now into CW's DC universe.
Yeah, that's all you, bro. I stopped a while back. I stopped Flash. I think it was Flash Arrow, and then I just stopped.
Yeah.
After like they started adding more people and the crossovers.
Oh, the crossover so far has been fantastic.
Well, that's what the Infinite on Crisis Earth or whatever.
Crisis on Infinite Earths, yeah.
So every Earth is different, and every Earth has a different superhero.
Well,
my question to you is, because I'm not watching it. I'm be honest with you. How do they know what people are where? Like I've seen that there's 2 Supermen. The throwback one, Smallville.
There's 4 Supermen.
Okay.
They're all from obviously different Earths.
Right. But they gave Brandon Ruth? That's his name.
Yeah.
Who's the Atom?
So the Monitor and Anti-Monitor. They're obviously the polar opposites. The good and the evil, yin and yang. So, I want to say this the most accurate, and if I'm off, then whatever. Comment section can blast me on it. From what I gathered, the Anti-Monitor was locked away.
Okay.
Harrison Wells, HR, has come back.
They're never getting rid of him, are they?
No, because there's always a different Wells in the universe. Right. So in the past, they've summoned a Wells. This time, a Wells popped up. I forget from where. He was looking for something, and he showed up on their Earth. Okay. And they made him more like an Indiana Jones figure. Okay. Like the adventurer guy.
Gotcha.
And he is looking for the Anti-Monitor. So he finds him. And he says to the Team Flash, minus Barry Allen, I know how to save the Flash, or I can save the Flash. So he finds him, but he's behind this rock wall, and he uses a woman, I forget. She has a sister who is a villain, and she also has powers like UV lights or ultraviolet lights. And Wells wants her to use her power to disrupt the composition of the rock so he can see which weapon he needs to blast away so he can get through to what he thinks is the Monitor. And
obviously it's not, because you said you think it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It ends up being, you find out, Wells blasts through the rock wall, and behind it's like, it looks like a concrete like tile, and it has 7 designs on it. And those, you end up finding out last episode of Crisis, the second one, that there's 7 paragons. So like those are different heroes, like courage, hope, wisdom, or something like that. That's where Wells' story ends, because once he opens that, he gets sucked in by this light. He ends up coming forth in part 1 of Crisis when Oliver Queen dies, and he says, and he says, I'm now a pariah. Because Flash goes, HR, and he goes, no, that's who I once was. Now I'm a man who has to see worlds fall like a pariah because I let the Anti-Monitor go.
Gotcha.
So
does Oliver Queen really die?
So Oliver Queen really dies at the end of the first episode, which is a Supergirl episode. He dies saving 3 billion people out of 7 because the antimatter wave is coming, but they have a quantum tower, I think it's called, that is pushing away the antimatter. Now the Anti-Monitor, you don't see him until episode 2. He sends his ghost demons or whatever, and there's thousands or millions of them. All the heroes have to backtrack, except for Oliver. At the very end, the Monitor comes and he goes, we have to go. Save our resources for battles yet to come. And Oliver goes, is everybody off the planet? And he goes, not yet. And then Oliver goes, then it's not time. And he turns around and shoots the Monitor in the chest with an arrow. It causes him not to be able to use his powers, and the Monitor falls down. No physical damage, just to his suit. And Oliver starts shooting the ghosts as much as he can, and eventually he gets hit by one, hit by another, and then he's on all fours, and he goes to like pull an arrow out of his back, and they're gone. So he stands up and he drops his arrow, and then the music's playing, and like he just like grits his teeth and runs in at like all these ghosts. At that point, you see the ships leaving the planet but going into a portal that the Monitor has set up for them to jump to. I think it's Earth. It's not Earth 1. It's a different Earth. And from that, it cuts to commercial, and you end up finding out that Oliver was able to save an extra billion people because of his fight. But as a result, he dies, and he dies on the table in front of Barry and Kara, and he says, I did this for you so you guys can save the planet or the universe. He talks to Sarah for a second, and he says, like, it's okay, this is my destiny. And earlier in the episode, Sarah had seen Oliver from a different Earth in the future, and Oliver tells her that Sarah had actually died on the Gambit, and he always held that like over himself, and it was like their way of tying up that Oliver's story, and he was able to kind of find peace with it. But it's old man Oliver, and then from there, Oliver talks to his daughter Mia, because Mia and William from the future end up being teleported by the Monitor into the present, which is the time period, the present Oliver.
Okay.
And they end up in this season of Arrow being able to like have a life,
Gotcha.
As father and kids. So he says goodbye to Mia, and then he dies on the table. It's a touching moment until...
Didn't Oliver have a son too?
Yeah, William. So William is there up until the crisis starts. I don't know where he goes.
Okay.
I missed that. But I think he's with his... I think he went to his current time period.
Gotcha.
And that's it. So now, to address your question about how do they know which superheroes or who's who?
Right.
So there's different Earths, but then they said something recently. The Monitor starts talking about the Paragons, and those are the heroes. And he says one of them is a Kryptonian of hope, and that's Supergirl. And he outright says it. And then he says another one is a Paragon of Destiny, I think. It has to do with time. And he goes, and that's Sarah. Sarah Lance. And he says the reason why they're able to find that out is because he enlisted the help of Felicity. And she read a second book. There's a book of Destiny and then a book of something else. And in that second book, they found 4 names. And the other 2 are another Kryptonian who's lost more than any mortal man can bear. And that's Superman.
Right.
And then there's a Paragon of Courage who has dedicated his whole life and blah blah blah, to serving and protecting. But they call him the Bat of the Future. So
Bat of the Future? So like a Batman.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So that's when Kate Kane, Batwoman, says, all right, I know who this is, or something like that. And then Brandon Routh, who's the Atom at this point on the ship, says, wait, you tell me Bruce Wayne or the Dark Knight is Bruce Wayne? And Kate goes, yeah, if we could just kind of keep that within ourselves, because nobody on her planet knows Bruce is Batman.
Right.
So then she goes, all right, who wants to go meet Batman? And then they go, and that's when they meet Kevin Conroy.
Right.
But he's in the future, which is Earth 99.
Right, I think I saw that on YouTube.
Yeah. And then I
he
think
has
there's...
that whole suit on, right?
Yeah. And then there's Earth 96, I think. And that's Brandon Routh's Superman.
Right.
Or Ruth, if I'm botching the last name.
Probably.
But what I think is cool is they line up the Earths with the years. Like Batman 99, Kevin Conroy's voice of the cartoon Batman.
Right.
Yeah, and I think Brandon's Superman was in the 90s also. So that was pretty cool. So they end up talking about what's going on with the multiverse and things like that with these Paragons, and that's where they confront well, first before Brandon, they confront the Smallville Batman.
I didn't even know Smallville had a Batman.
Yeah, not Batman.
Superman.
Okay. Smallville Superman. Todd Welling. Is that his name?
Probably.
And Lex Luthor wants to kill the Superman.
Right.
He was brought in by the Monitor, and Supergirl did not like that. He leaves with the Book of Destiny, and he goes and kills all the Supermen. And he kills one of the Supermen. I said that there were 4. They show up on one of the planets, and Superman's dead. Mm-hmm. They show it on TV. Lois is there,
right.
And he's got the cape flying in the wind, and he's gone. Then they go visit Smallville, and Smallville's Superman, they tell him, like, hey, Lex is coming to kill you. Mm-hmm. And he goes, Lex? He goes, I didn't know the president was in town. So Lex became the president on Smallville.
Gotcha, okay.
You find out on Smallville, that Smallville Earth, and I think it's Earth 167. And I don't know, maybe there was 167 episodes of Smallville. Mm-hmm. I could be wrong, but I haven't looked into it, but that'd be pretty cool tie-in. So, Lex he shows up, and he says, I'm going to kill Clark Kent. Mm-hmm. And he goes, you're not Lex. So he goes back to chopping wood. He's in his red flannel and he's chopping the wood. And he goes, Lex basically says, we're rivals on any Earth, blah, blah, blah. And he goes and he says something and pulls out kryptonite right in front of Smallville. And Todd Welling just kind of looks at it, and then he goes and grabs it and holds the kryptonite right in his hand, shrugs it off, and just throws it away.
Wow. And
Lex goes, that doesn't faze you on this Earth? And he goes, well, it used to, but it doesn't anymore now that I gave up my powers.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. And so Lex goes, you could have been a god, and you could fly, and blah, blah, blah. He goes, what did you do? And then right as he does that, he steps on a toy tractor. Mm-hmm. And then Lex it's almost like for a second he has a change of heart or realization. He goes, are you kidding? And then Todd Welling goes, that's worth more than any superpower. And then Lex basically goes, you took all the fun out of it. And then he vanishes. He goes, whatever, you're all doomed anyways. And he leaves. Then the Lois Lane from that world comes out and like says, Clark, we got to go in and eat or whatever. And the 2 girls made a mess, or they want to show you something they're very proud of. Mm-hmm. And he goes, what? And then Lois goes, a mess. And then he goes, well, this looks like a job for us, not Superman.
Right.
So that was cool. I thought that, and I haven't seen Smallville, but I thought that was a cool way to like wrap it up without, yeah. So yeah, that's how they know where, where the heroes are. Right. They're able to find different ones, and then they resurrect Oliver using the Lazarus pit.
Of course.
On a different Earth. They bring Constantine back, and he's unable to get his soul so far because...
Wait, the original Constantine?
The blonde guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. He's in it. And he's unable to resurrect the soul because there's too much antimatter. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's where we're at right now with the crossover.
All right, that was a lot. So moving back to stuff that doesn't have to do anything with Marvel. I mean,
anything. DC's. Listen, it's the water cooler discussion.
It is. So reports of the new Superman being Michael B. Jordan.
I heard it's still Henry.
Henry still wants to play.
And I heard Michael B. is actually going to be a different character. Like a Cal something.
Mm-hmm. Well, either way you see it.
He met with Warner Brothers.
Yeah, he did. But Henry still wants his spot.
Yeah. Well, there's still some story. See, here's the thing with the Man of Steel. I liked the Man of Steel storyline. They never gave a second Man of Steel, and Batman vs Superman just wasn't. It wasn't. I didn't think it was a good continuation of the Man of Steel. I know that they tried by showing the fight with who was it, General Zod, but it just I felt like Man of Steel had more to go off of.
Yeah, I feel like they need to do Superman justice.
Yeah.
Because you throwing in Batman versus Superman is not, like...
Yeah.
And on top of that, you threw in, like, Doomsday.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they did too much in a movie. Once again, they did entirely too much.
Yeah, I think that they definitely did too much. And the thing with the whole DC universe, again, doing too much, but I just have a problem with the overall release the Snyder Cut fanatics because Batman vs. Superman did not hit it out of the park.
Did not.
And he directed that movie.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, he did throw in a lot of stuff, and it was overly saturated.
Yes. Good use of good term. And, like, now we got Birds of Prey coming out, and I feel like that's going to be too much. Because, like, why can't Harley Quinn just be by herself? Why do you need to add, like, the Huntress and all these other characters?
Or even just have Harley and Poison Ivy.
Yeah.
What do you need 7 people for?
I don't know. But that, I don't know. I guess it's just a DC thing because look at Black Widow. I think that looks amazing.
I love the Black Widow trailer.
It looks really good.
I'm not surprised if they make another one somewhere along the lines after that.
No, but what you call she's dead.
Right, but another filler in kind of movie where they branch off of this in that time period.
They can't because the time period is between.
It's the 90s.
No.
Yeah.
No.
It's after she comes out of Russia.
Yeah, but she goes back, but it's supposed to be the time between Civil War.
Right, so they could fit. I mean, you could fit in another, unless the end credits are, you know, whatever happens before Infinity War.
True, but honestly, I think they should just put her sister in Black Widow's spot.
Moving forward. Yeah.
Because I mean, how many Avengers are left?
From the original, well, you got Hulk and Thor.
Hulk and Thor.
Are we talking the first Avengers?
First Avengers.
And Hawkeye.
That's it. Iron Man's
Widow's dead, Iron Man's dead, and Cap is...
old.
He's either old or dead. It depends how far in the future they go.
But I also think that he's going to come back, Captain.
I think they're all going to come back. Not now. I think when the MCU wraps up, there's going to be one final big fight, and you're going to see, and it'll be more of a fan service, you're going to see everybody come back. It'll be a bigger moment than Cap's Avengers Assemble.
I don't know about that. You got too many. You got too many characters and variables now. Like you got She-Hulk coming out. You got who is definitely a part of the Avengers and the A-Team.
The She-Hulk?
She-Hulk.
Yeah, well, Banner helps her, right? Become the Hulk?
Exactly. Because I guess she was dying and needed a blood transfusion. Whatever. But then you got the new Asian character coming out. Mm-hmm. Who I guess is a master martial artist. I don't know much about
Blade.
it. And you got Blade.
Uh-huh.
So I feel like they're gonna go in different aspects. I don't think there's gonna be another Avengers Assemble type thing.
Yeah. Well,
and then who's gonna be the big baddie?
Well,
what the hell are they gonna assemble?
Doom, and then
they're gonna assemble to do what? Play patty cake?
Well, there's a deleted scene in on Disney Plus where the Ancient One talks about the snap and how you can bring people back from the snap, but you can't bring them back from the grave. And because they're still existing even after the snap.
Right.
So that means that Big Purple is still around.
Big Purple?
Thanos.
No, he's dead in more ways than one.
No, he was just snapped. The one that we know,
they killed.
Right. But 14, who's filled with hate towards the planet,
right,
is out there.
I guess.
Because remember, he's like, "What I'm gonna do to your puny, pathetic planet."
Right. Yeah, I just saw it last night. I always watch it.
Yeah.
I only watch the battle though. I don't watch anything else. That's it. I just want to watch the ending of it because I think the ending is so badass.
It is. I mean, I don't know if I love Spider-Man Far From Home.
I wasn't a fan of that.
In that, I feel like you could have told a different story. I didn't need a mourning fest for Tony Stark after I just mourned for Tony Stark.
Right. No, you're right. I mean, Mysterio wasn't a bad villain. He's a great actor. Jake Gyllenhaal's a great actor.
Great with what he was given.
Mysterio, out of all people, I'd rather Craven.
Yeah.
The Hunter.
I think isn't Craven doesn't he get alerted because of time travel?
I don't know.
I think there's something where he gets alerted from time travel.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is going to be one of the main things, moving forward.
Time travel, this whole time traveling thing?
Yeah, because there's some fan theories that are going around when Tony Stark says to Cap, when how they say when you mess with time it tends to mess back.
Yeah.
I think that he gets alerted by time travel.
That would be dope, but it's like who? I don't know. I'm grown up off of comic books and like the cartoons. Like, I wish Venom didn't come out with its own movie. I wish he was introduced in the MCU.
Yeah. Because
now Venom should already be on Spider-Man's ass.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And instead of that, you're gonna give me Carnage and Venom in a Venom movie. Like, you're really messing me up with the MCU because Venom and Carnage and Spider-Man are not gonna meet supposedly. Or what they're trying to do is they're gonna have two different Spider-Mans. One living in the MCU and then one living in Sony.
Tom Holland is able to cross over. That's what I saw from their deal.
Right.
Which means it's the same, but his battles are different. How many battles are you going to put a kid in? How many battles is a kid really going to fight? Apparently he loves the role, but like...
He's going to age out, though.
Here's my thing. How many battles are you going to fight? You're going to fight Endgame. You're going to fight Infinity War. You're going to fight Mysterio. And you're going to fight... who was Michael Keaton's bad guy?
Vulture.
Yeah, you're going to fight Vulture. And now you're what? You're going to go fight Venom and Carnage.
Right.
Okay. And then who are you fighting after that? And you didn't give Iron Man more than 3 movies because you didn't want to burn out his story.
Right.
You probably didn't do the same for Cap because you didn't want to burn out the Cap legacy.
Right.
I mean, Thor is going to jump over to... He's going to have his own movie, but...
Yeah, but the movie's not even going to be about him. It's going to...
Apparently he's the main guy in his movie, but I just...
He's not going to be worthy anymore of holding...
Well,
I don't even know if he has Mjolnir anymore.
Well, he gives it to...
Jane Foster, his girlfriend.
She gets the power, right? But then it extracts a toll in her body because it...
No.
Apparently she has cancer. And when she uses the Thor powers, it speeds it up.
Yeah.
So that's like a send-off probably for her, unless they alter the story.
Which I'm pretty sure they will. They'll probably take it from other ones.
Yeah.
I mean, me personally, I wish they could all just stay and keep doing their movies. You know what I mean?
I would
like
love
Chris
that.
Evans, I would love to see that. Robert Downey Jr. comes back somehow. That would be fucking dope.
Well, listen, you could bring back any of these people at any time by jumping to the moment before they died and taking them out of that timeline.
Right.
They've already done it with Gamora.
This is true.
She's already out of time. It's like okay, they did it similarly with Cap.
Mm-hmm.
They kept him in the same world, but he froze, and they took him out of time and essentially popped him forward.
Right.
And then he thawed out rather, and and then now he lived in this time period. You end up finding out that Cap goes back to I think 1949.
Yeah, to go get Peggy Carter. Or
yeah,
whatever.
that was when he went back, and then when he's old, he's like 112.
Something like that.
Yeah, that's what they were saying how old he was. Time travel. What do you think? If you could time travel, would you? And if so, where would you go?
I think there is time travel, but I wouldn't want to mess with time because I don't want to mess up myself. So if I was to go backwards, I'd mess up something for my future.
Okay.
And I don't want to know what the future holds for me, so I wouldn't want to do that. So I would want to be where I am right now.
Okay.
Because think about it. If I go in the past and mess up the smallest detail, everything that I've already done to right now might change. And then that's scary.
Like when Hawkeye takes the baseball glove.
Yeah. That's a ripple in time. Like he messed something up.
What if he gets the glove, right? Or he goes to look for the glove, and in that timeline, now he's got to go buy a new glove. And something happens on the way to go buy a glove.
Exactly. Get hit by a car or something.
Yeah.
So what do you think about time travel? And would you do it?
I would definitely do it. I don't know.
You're not fearful of messing up your future?
No, I don't give a shit about that.
This guy's crazy.
So, would I do it? Yes. What do I think of it? Okay. So, there seems to be this misunderstanding, first of all, before I dive in. Mm-hmm. There's a difference between a time travel and time rewind. And we talked about this on the phone the other day. People are like, oh, well, the Avengers, they did this wrong, this and that. So with time travel, you are leaving right now. It's 3:06 on December 10th, right? Your physical body with your memories and everything, you are traveling. You're hopping onto the wave rider, or you're using the Pym particle to get into the quantum realm.
I just jumped my DeLorean.
Or the DeLorean, and you're traveling.
Right.
You're using that as a vessel, like a highway, and you're gonna get off at whatever year, day, month, hour, whatever. Mm-hmm. Now everybody says, "Oh, I would go back and do things different." No, but you traveling, you're going back. And you're not just erasing a person you're not erasing yourself. There is actually two of you now. Mm-hmm. It's you up until that time, and then you from today going back.
Right.
Or forward. Mm-hmm. So you can change things based on like what you do, but you're now another living being. You add to the population.
Right.
So, like, if I go back to 2007, I can't sit in my high school class because I'm 31 now. And they're going to be like,
right.
You're too old to be here.
You're too old.
Yeah.
I'll point at you. You're too old.
You're too old. Or if I go to 2031, Christmas Eve, right? And let's say that time period has a family and all that, and I walk in, they're going to be like, what happened to you? Mm-hmm. You're young. Or the old me is going to be like, wait a minute, what happened here? And that's the thing with travel. But yeah, you could change things because in a sense, like, let's say you want to make yourself more wealthy, right? Mm-hmm. You go back to that time period. You do have the one time period that continues. So if you went back to 1996 and you just stood in a room in a corner and you just watched.
And I created Google.
Yeah. But you just watched. Mm-hmm. Nothing happened, nothing changed. You're just watching. You're not affecting anything. Because you can leave at that point and then show up. You didn't talk to anybody, you didn't move anything, you didn't do anything. You just stood in a room, you stayed out of everybody's way. You could time travel that way and not affect the linear timeline that you have.
True.
But if you go back to 1996 or whenever you're old enough that you had a bank account and could play the lotto and you scratch off the right numbers, there is a timeline that you have, which present you left to go back and change the lotto. And then from there, like when the ancient one takes the time stone away and another timeline branches off,
right.
Your branching off would be this other timeline where you have millions of dollars. Mm-hmm. Now, you can make that your timeline. But you have to take the other time period you out and put them into yours. And then you can live.
Swapping.
Yeah, you can swap. It's kind of a dick thing to do.
That would be a very big dickish thing to do.
It's also your time too.
Right. It's my time
You can
too.
own it. You created it, and it's you. So there's ways to go about it. Now, the other thing people don't realize is so for instance, and I don't know the movie to a T, but Back to the Future, they go back, and their old self isn't there, right?
No.
Okay, so what happens is, right? There's no Marty McFly 2.
There is. In one of the episodes, there is, but they stay clear from them.
Okay.
So now that's what I'm saying. Like, why would you want to go do that?
Right. So that's more of a travel.
Right.
But people don't realize when they talk about it, they go, well, if I was going to time travel and I knew what I knew now, I would just change it. Okay. You're not able to do that for what I mentioned because there's another you. But if you were,
right,
you're rewinding yourself. Mm-hmm. And everything around you is rewinding. Everything's spinning backwards, if you will, like a cassette. And you lose those memories because that's rewound too. You don't go there with what you know today.
So you're just rewinding.
If you're going to go to a time that doesn't have you.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
That's a lot to.
If you're going to go back with what you know now,
right,
it can only be in a time period that has you in it.
Right.
Unless you found a time period where you died.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
Or you just go back to like, so let's just say I was born in 1985.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm rewinding. I'm not rewinding. I'm actually time traveling.
Yeah.
So if I went to like 1970,
uh-huh,
that would be, there's nobody there like me.
No.
So I would be able to stay in that timeline.
You would.
Right.
You would.
And I'd be okay.
And even if...
And I would know everything that I know now.
Even if you talk to your parents and it caused them not to give birth to you, it wouldn't mean that you aren't existed because that's a different timeline.
Right.
So you can still exist in a time that doesn't have you.
Right.
You know, because you were never created.
I got you. I know.
But there are people that think, oh, I'll travel back. There's not going to be another me because it's just me.
Right.
And that's not true either. You can't just travel back. I can't travel back to 2005
because there's already you.
And talk to my crush and say, whatever different and keep playing that over and over and over again because there's another me.
Right.
And if I could go back to then, I would just rewind and lose all my memories
and
whatever build I have now and any financial gain. It doesn't work like that. So there's really no way to take you out, at least that I can see, that you can take yourself out and go back in that perfect scenario where you've lived, right? Because in that case, you're thinking, I'm going to live. There's going to be a Kyle that lives all the way up until 2009. And I'm going to bet $1 million that the Yankees win Game 6 of the World Series, and that's it. Because I know now they did that.
Right.
Okay. What happened to me then?
Right.
I'm thinking that it just ceased to exist because I show up. That doesn't work like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you'd have to still deal with you in that era.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you don't exist ever.
Or you just swap, like you said earlier. Just swap them.
And I would swap the hell out of it.
Hell yeah. I would swap myself
out. I would do it. I would do it in a second. Because I've seen to this point where life is. And if I can go back, it's only under the assumption I can go back, but then back again here, if I wanted to.
So you have an option?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not like, if things went bad, that's it. No, but like, I could go to that time period, maybe help them out a little bit, see what's going on, and then leave, and then go to this one. If I wanted to. If you could go back to any time, where would you go? It could even be a moment in your life, or it could be a historical moment. Also, if you chose to time travel forward, just remember, you're in your current state. So you could travel 1,000 years in the future. You wouldn't age or be dead. Some people think, if I time travel forward, I go past my death, and then I cease to exist. And that's just a fast forward.
Right. No, I wouldn't want to go fast forward. I don't want to see where this world's going to. That's why. That would scare me. I think I would probably maybe like the 60s or the 70s. Like, when like the Beatles were around and Jimi Hendrix. Like, I feel like I belong in that era.
Yeah?
You know what I mean? I don't know. Just like, I just vibe with the music so much back then than what the garbage that I have to listen to now. We'll save
Oh my God.
We'll save that for another podcast.
What did you do to my ears?
We're gonna have to do that.
Did you see? We'll save the overall music talk for another one. Have you seen Nick Cannon and Eminem?
Stop it. I don't even want to get into it.
Come on.
Nick Cannon is a joke. Eminem is going to come for that ass.
He got Suge Knight to talk from his phone in prison. Did Suge even hear the track?
I don't know. But it's like you got your wildin' out cronies on a track.
I know.
And the ones that are rapping are garbage. The only person that did not rap that's actually nice is Conceited.
Dude. Like, listen. For what it's worth, the Nick Cannon bars were not the worst thing that I've ever heard. Right. Because the worst thing I ever heard was him on Slick Rick when he dissed Eminem a while back. Right. That was trash. He held back a little less this time when he went after M's daughters. And he's you're not even like their dad or something. Well,
one of them.
Yeah. And when he said that, I was like, oh my God.
But it's like, I think since MGK that went after Machine Gun Kelly, I think everybody else thinks they can go after Eminem.
Yeah.
But Machine Gun Kelly's been holding on to those lyrics for years.
Since my favorite rapper banned me from Shade 45, he's been
holding, checking it every year, waiting for M to just say something.
And then when M said something, he popped the bottle and just, I can put this out now. I can put this out.
It's crazy. And I think Nick Cannon's career is done.
Stick to TV, dude.
Yeah.
Just be the nice host.
Yeah, just don't do that.
Because I like Nick Cannon, the host, even though sometimes it's corny.
Yeah.
Like, you seem like a nice guy.
Yeah.
Let's keep you around for the holidays.
Don't step into that arena with
my
Eminem.
God.
Even 50 Cent said it on Instagram. He's like,
I'm gonna beat your
Eminem
ass.
is a different type of animal. When I see you, I'm going to kick you in the ass.
I think Eminem's going to say something. I mean, he already tweeted.
Yeah, he tweeted.
And maybe that's it. But listen, M isn't like the guy in the White House where it's just tweeting and that's it.
Right.
Okay. To be fair to Nick, he was defending his wife back when Bagpipes from Baghdad came out. Yeah, at the time wife, now ex-wife. Then she made Obsessed after Bagpipes, which, okay, it's fine. She's retaliating.
Mm-hmm.
M took offense to that, so he made the warning.
Mm-hmm.
Then Nick said, I'm coming for you. You're talking about my wife. We got to meet up, blah, blah. And then everything kind of stopped. All right. I think I don't know if M ever said anything, but I feel like there's an interview where M was like, I get it. He's defending his wife.
Right.
All right, fine. That's it. And then all of a sudden, recently, I remember seeing an interview where they asked Nick Cannon about the Eminem feud.
Mm-hmm.
And he starts saying, I called people. Right. I did this. I did that. Blah, blah, blah. And up until that point, Nick had always said, I even invited him to Wild and Out to have fun with it. It's over. Water under the bridge. But then all of a sudden now you're talking about how you call management and you're looking for fights and blah, blah.
Well, Eminem just went off on Fat Joe's album.
And
he was special. He's featured on it.
Yeah.
And I heard it Friday.
Lord Above.
Yeah, I heard it Friday. And Eminem was doing his thing. And then all of a sudden, he took a left turn.
He's like, he mentions Mariah, and then he goes, full quit. You're not going to do shit. Right. I let her chop my balls off, too, before I lost to you, Nick. And when he said that, I was like, all right, so he's just retaliating to the interviews. But then he kept going and going and going. Yeah. And I was like, all right, well, when is Nick Cannon going to say something? And now, here we are with the song. But here's the interesting thing. On Toy Soldier, I think.
That's throwback.
I think it was Toy Soldier. All I know is at one point, Eminem says, I went my whole career without ever mentioning, and it blurs out the word, and he is saying Suge.
Mm-hmm.
Because that was Dre. Dre had a beef with Suge Knight.
Mm-hmm.
I just wonder if that changes anything because Suge now went after M.
I don't think anything's going to change.
You don't think M's going to go after Suge?
He's probably going to address him, but I think lyrically, just stay away from Eminem.
Yeah, I mean,
it's like, and if it goes to the point where it has to get physical, then it's not really the culture of hip hop anymore. You just brought it to a whole new level of fighting. Like, just stay on the mic and rip your bars.
that's another thing I never understood. Why does rhyming words have to translate into "I can kick your ass"?
Right.
Like physically. No, you can't. Because you can rhyme cat, gat, scat, like that. That doesn't mean
No,
like
people-
I could rhyme that to The Rock, but The Rock is gonna fucking bottom me through a table. Okay, that's game over.
Like people like artists like J. Cole. Lyrically, I think he's amazing.
Yeah.
But he'll never be like going after somebody. You know what I mean?
Like
just
if you
make
put 50
music.
and J. Cole
Yeah.
in their same ages,
Mm-hmm.
I mean 50 at J. Cole's age was jacked.
Right.
I'm guessing he still is, but like
50, yeah, 50's still jacked. J. Cole's a little dude, but
Yeah.
he can rap his ass off. So it's like, just keep it on pen and paper, microphone, and
Yeah.
the beats. As soon as like the tough guy
yeah,
persona
I'm not
comes,
for
I
it,
hate
man.
that.
Because then you run the risk of losing
yo,
people.
and then it's like these new rappers now. That's all they want to do is beef.
yeah.
They just want to. That's how they think they're gonna get their career.
Well, they're
started.
like YouTube influencers too.
Yeah.
Like, listen, that whole thing, like, and I know he's not a rapper, but the whole Logan Paul thing, it was okay boxing match. I didn't watch much of it, but he's beefing with someone.
Mm-hmm.
But then at the end, they're all like hugging it out. Hey,
right.
like
Just doing it for show.
you get people like the old school like
Mm-hmm.
hip hop heads. They don't beef like that where they like can hug it out afterwards. Typically,
Right.
you know, I don't know enough about the culture, if you will, because I'm not in it. But you know, being a fan of it,
Right.
I don't know. I think that Nick Cannon thing is an Eminem verse away from blowing up, depending on who he takes shots at.
Right.
And it'll be fun to listen to.
Right.
Because and listen, the Nick Cannon song, The Invitation, all right, the first 30 seconds, 40 seconds was fun to listen to. I was like, geez, he did it.
Right.
Good or bad, he did it. And then he had everybody else jumping in.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, what? Like,
Right.
who are these people?
He signed his own talent to his label. Charlie Clips, some other guy, and some other guy. I don't know. All
Right.
I know is corny. But with that said, we do have to end this.
Ladies and gentlemen, the podcast has come to an end. It is Christmas time. We don't want to end on feuds. We have Dax, the gift to the world. We have my boy, Mike Tirado.
Crushing
Me.
the game.
Christmas time, real quick. Let's end on a positive note. What are you looking forward to? What do you like about it?
I like, hopefully
Favorite
it
thing.
snows, because I like snow.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to throw my son in the snow.
Okay.
I
Like,
already did it once,
like
but
face down throw or like
yeah,
on his back?
I'm face planting.
Face down. Into
Face
rocks,
plants.
maybe. A tree root.
No, and just being with my wife and doing it with my family and doing like Christmas tree and lights and stuff. Like I enjoy all that.
Yeah. Got a favorite Christmas movie? Or top 3?
4 Christmases,
Okay.
Christmas with the Cranks. Basically it. I watch
Christmas
those
with
all
the
time.
Cranks is very underrated.
Home Alone.
Yes.
Home Alone 2 though. 1 is too old for me.
Okay.
Home Alone 2, and that's probably it.
That's it, huh?
Yeah.
All
Those
right.
are like my go-tos all the time.
Yeah.
That's,
I got 4. I got Home Alone, The Santa Claus, Christmas Vacation, and Bam Margera's Where the Fuck is Santa? That is it. Anything that you want from Christmas or for Christmas. One gift.
my son to stop crying.
Okay. One gift if you had to have it under the tree. Could be anything.
I don't know. I really don't need anything.
Nothing.
No. I need a pair of Timberlands.
Timberlands. Tim's, are we going for the brown?
Oh, the regular wheat color.
Okay.
The normal.
All right.
What's wrong with you?
So that's what we got. Christmas 2019.
Yep, and I will see you Saturday.
See you Saturday. Mikey T, it's been a pleasure. Dax, next time we have you here, you're going to be talking. And that's it, guys. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and see you later.
Happy Kwanzaa.
Later.